welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, best friend,
Artemis
Brower. How you doing, my friend? Sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good, man. I'm good though, brother. I'm good, man. We're surviving. We're maintaining. We're here. We're alive. We're good. This week has kind of been a going through the motions week. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not up. I'm not down. Just kind of here.
It feels that way. Like this week has just kind of been like, I don't know. This week with the holiday and then just trying to get back in the swing of things after, the holiday break 2 weeks ago. Now it's like, okay. And then, I'm traveling a lot over the next 3 weeks. I'll be in Canada for a whole week, and then I'll be in on a cruise for a week, and it's nice. Like in the next month I'm going to be all over the place. So
hey, you're going to Canada. You're going to have your time taking some hockey, or is it strictly business?
So there is no NHL hockey that week or during the time that I'll be there because it is actually All-Star weekend. The weekend that I'm going to be in Toronto, or the week that I'm going to be in Toronto, that weekend is All-Star weekend, and it just so happens that the All-Star game is also in Toronto, Canada, where I will be for a week. So, but All-Star game.
Are you going to partake in any All-Star festivities?
No, but my company has rented out. Artie, get this. My company has rented out the Hockey Hall of Fame for a social event. So I will be enjoying my time at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Nice.
While I am there. So
is this
go ahead.
First time in Toronto?
Yeah, never been to Toronto. Been to Canada, but never been to Toronto.
Yeah, I figured you've been to Canada.
Excited to go. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be real cold, but what are you gonna do about it? So such is life. I don't understand why my company decided to do it, in
the dead of winter.
Granted, my company is headquartered in Toronto, so it is.
Oh, okay. Well, you're the only one not used to it.
So yeah, well, there's about 75% of the company that doesn't live there. But yeah, overall excited about it. Excited to travel. So in a couple of weeks, there will be a podcast where I think it'll just be Josh and Artie on the podcast, and I will not be on there, but that's because I will be traveling so much. I'm going to be gone quite a bit here in the next couple of weeks, just getting my travel out of the way early in the year. Artie, first, before I ask you if you have a number, I got to say, love the facial hair, love the shave.
Yeah.
Looking good. You honestly, you look like a grown-ass man.
So you thought the beard made me look like a child?
It looks more mature. You look like you got. I don't know. I could see you picking up kids at the daycare.
Yeah, I've got the dad hat going. I've got the goatee. I'm definitely refined. Just getting off the links. I'm about to go pick up my 3 kids from Aces or whatever it is. So,
hey. Anyways, do you have a number 80?
No.
No.
No. I was trying to look, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was trying to find one last minute that was not chalk, and I really couldn't find nothing that wasn't chalk. To be honest with you, I just couldn't. So, or what I did find, I just had no idea who these people were. So I was like, Jared's going to mention somebody that we don't know who he is. I'm going to leave that up to Jared.
Hurricanes legend,
of course.
Now a NHL analyst on ESPN. None other than Shady 80, aka Weeksy, Kevin Weeks. My number 80. 348 games played, 105 wins, 163 losses. He was a NHL goalie for 11 years. Artie spent time with Florida, Vancouver, then I believe went to the Islanders for a little bit, the Lightning played, I think the majority of it, when you look at it, the highest percentage of his games played were with the Carolina Hurricanes from 2001 to 2004, went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 01-02 where they lost to Detroit. After his stint with Carolina, he also had a stint with the Rangers and with the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Weeks, he's now famous for he does a lot of breaking news and only shows about half of his face, and it's from random ass places around the world that he breaks news. He's trying to become the new he's trying to become the Woj of hockey, Artie, where he just kind of drops breaking bombs.
Yeah, the straight bombs.
So he's getting better at it. He's still, I wouldn't consider him my go-to insider, but he's an insider nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, played 119 games for the Hurricanes, 39, 54, and 20 in his time there. So yeah, I mean, 912 save percentage, which not too shabby considering overall he was a 903 save percentage guy. But yeah, mine is Kevin Weeks. So, Artie, before we get started, the Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network. Check them out. If you're watching on the Boneyard Podcast YouTube channel or Twitter, go follow and subscribe to the Variety Sports Network. Lots of great content going on. Lots of NFL content for the football season, postseason. A lot of NBA content going on. So check it out. Ramping up baseball. Baseball is only about 2.5 months away. So lots to talk about in the sports world. We may not have as many sports going on right now, but lots going on in the wide world of sports. And you can find it all on the Variety Sports Podcast Network. Go subscribe. And if you're watching on Variety Sports Network, hello. Give us a subscribe. All right. Okay, Artie. A big week for East Carolina University. Football is, I mean, they're starting to get underway with winter workouts and get ready for the season or for the spring part of camp and the preparation that goes into that. Conditioning started earlier this week. Artie, how excited are you for ECU football in 2024?
I know we talked about it, it just ending and we're still talking about it, even though we're coming off the season that we came off of. But I mean, this in my mind, and this may be a way too early prediction, but ECU, they've got the opportunity to be the comeback program of the year going into next season. To come off of a 2-10 season, what they've done already with the portal, with some of these transfer hits, what JDB's doing, what Houston's doing, what everybody's doing in the program, they can definitely go from 2-10 to 10-2, maybe even better if they really wanted to. So I think they are early program for comeback team of the year. I'm excited. I'm putting all my chips in the table now as far as excitement. I know I wasn't singing that tune a couple weeks ago, but now that I'm taking a step back, really kind of surveyed the landscape. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for what's to come for next season.
Yeah, I am too. There's been a lot of additions to the program, and I've heard people say, "Oh, well, none of these guys that are being added or were starters or got much playing time at their old schools." Well, right. To be a second string on a team that is a top 10 team in the country,
you're still pretty good.
You still got to be pretty damn good. Now let's talk about some of the recent announcements on signings. They had the dead period, and then a bunch of signings kind of came out of nowhere. First up, Artie, tight end out of Oregon, former walk-on at Ole Miss, brother of Chad Kelly. There's a typo there. Is it Chad or Cad? It's not. Okay,
it's Chad. I'm pretty sure it's Chad Kelly.
I was about to say, and then
it's Chad Kelly.
Yeah, And then the nephew of Jim Kelly, he's the tight end. Spent time with JDB at Ole Miss, and then I believe he transferred to Oregon for a year. Had 3 receiving touchdowns last year already for Oregon. I mean, a team that people thought was gonna make the college football playoff, and had it not been for Washington, they would have been in the college football playoff.
Yeah, only team they lost to.
So I mean, Casey Kelly, tight end now at ECU, coming in, really kind of helping fill out that room. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get that room stacked. Running back room is stacked. Wide receiver room is reloaded. I mean, you got to be excited for this offense. Quarterback room is getting stacked. Jake Garcia. Last week when we talked about him, the news wasn't official. It's now official. He's a Pirate. So Jake Garcia transfers in from Mizzou, spent time at Miami, and I think we talked about him for 20 minutes last week, Artie, and so we won't talk too much about him. But the main thing I want to make sure people understand is you can never have too much depth in the quarterback room. And Garcia's going to try to get a medical red shirt, so that way he has 3 years of eligibility. We'll see how that goes. But you can never have too much depth and too much competition. Last week, I think I said Cole Hodge was signing early or coming in early. That ended up not happening. He's not there right now. So I don't think that there's any chance that he's going to be starting to begin the year. This team is Caden Hauser's to lead, but adding a guy like Jake Garcia in right now gets you to a point where you're having competition already, and they're building that bond and that teamsmanship in that room already between the two new guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know who your projected one is going to be, but you want to put the most pressure on that projected one as possible. You want to make sure, pressure builds diamonds. You're trying to build a diamond here. So, especially coming off of what we came off last year, yeah, you want Caden Hauser to feel the heat soon, quick, fast, and in a hurry, so that he goes out there and proves, okay, this is my position to lose. I got to go ahead and earn it. It's not just going to be given to me. So absolutely. I mean, just adding, you can never have too much in the quarterback room. You can never have too much depth in the running back or receiver room. I think we've retooled on all of that. So that competition, getting it in quick, fast, in a hurry, knowing that you have to earn it, it's not going to be given to you. Yeah, that's got me excited.
Yeah, and then Blake Harrell said, "Y'all been having so much fun on the offense. We're going to get on it on the defense."
Yeah.
And he comes out of nowhere with 2, quality transfers from the Big Ten, right? Gavin Gibson, defensive back from Maryland, and then a D tackle out of Ohio State, Jaden McKenzie. Those are guys that, a lot of defense is played in the Big Ten, and those are guys that play good defense. Bringing them in can do nothing but good things for ECU. You've now added 2 DBs into on the defensive side of the ball, and you're gonna hopefully have one of those that maybe can't replace what you lost in Antoine Jackson, but who knows? You might find a diamond in the rough in one of these transfers.
Yeah. And look, I think if we're being honest with each other, some of these transfers are going to hit, some of them are not going to hit. That's
numbers game.
That's just the nature of the beast. Some are going to hit, some are not. You just got to hope the most hit than don't. But it, like you said, it can't hurt. It literally cannot hurt to bring in Division I, Power 5 guys that have that kind of experience. They may not have a lot of experience, may not have a lot of starts or playing time under their belt, but they do have the experience of playing for a big time program, having big time coaching, being highly recruited, still being hungry, still wanting to prove themselves. So it definitely can't hurt for the room. You just got to hope that most hit, and because they're just not all going to hit, but you got to hope that most do. So,
and one thing that sticks out to me is, yeah, Kane Hauser comes from a program that didn't win much, didn't
awful. Yeah, Michigan State was awful.
I mean, absolutely terrible. I think they still found a way to win, 4 games?
Nah, I think they won like 2 or 3 games. I could be wrong. I thought they only won 2 or 3 games.
I thought they won 4, but anyways, you've got guys that have been around winning culture at Ohio State, at Oregon, at Mizzou, that you're bringing in, at West Virginia, at Louisville, at NC State.
Yeah.
The guys you've brought in, while they may not have been getting reps, they were around that culture. And we've said it time and time again. I think we started saying it in the middle of the season last year. The offense didn't have a leader. Hopefully, some of these guys can kind of step up and help fill leadership roles immediately because they know what it takes to win. They're around that. They're in those workouts. They're in those meetings. They know what it is. While they may not have been getting the reps at times, they know what it takes to win. So we'll see. And then lastly, Artie, one that kind of came out of nowhere, Connor Maynard, punter out of App State, transfers to ECU.
From the enemy.
That was made official. I gotta think, and look, Luke Larson is a friend of the podcast. I gotta think that they're looking at all their options right now because Luke Larson he can go out and have a 45-yard, 50-yard punt, and then the very next punt will be a 25-yard punt out of bounds that puts you on your side of the 50, right?
I got to be honest with you. I didn't even know Luke Larson was coming back. I didn't even know Granddad was coming back, man. And he is a friend of the podcast. We love Luke Larson. But that man is about to be a grandfather. Like, I didn't even know he's coming back.
The hands of time keep turning, Artie. No, he'll be back. I think he's got one more year of eligibility. I don't know. The years of eligibility always get wonky with guys that come to school when they're 30 years old, and then you're trying to figure out. Then you got guys that are coming to school when they're 18 and playing until they're 26. Then you have Talia. You have Talia Tagovailoa, who was trying to get another year of eligibility to play a 6th year, 7th year in college football. NCAA said that's going to be a no-go. Go to the NFL, kid.
Hey, look, we're gonna have Luke for the next 4 to 5 years, man. Entering his 8th season with the Pirates, 46-year-old Luke Larson, the Aussie.
I believe he was the oldest player in college football last year.
He's got to be. He's got to be.
Man is older than me, Artie, and I've been out of college for 6 years.
I mean, come on now.
It's insane. What are we doing?
Love you, Luke. It ain't no shame, man. It's just funny.
Hater of Foster's beer. The Aussie. And then now ECU is kind of we're through the recruiting part of the season. Yeah, you're trying to get guys to campus, finalize all that, but you're starting to turn your eyes to the 2025 class. And the offense is starting to make offers. Recently offered Wisconsin quarterback commit Jack Moran. That would be a big get. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And the NIL is doing big things now. I mean, I think Team Boneyard is close to, if not already, going over $1 million in donations. So you got to keep pushing, because this is the name of the game. And schools that are seen as schools that have passed us by are struggling with the NIL, and ECU is showing that our donors are showing that, hey, we're getting behind this, we're pushing it, because we want the best for our university. I mean, Coastal Carolina's already folded their NIL collective. There's other NIL collectives in other G5 conferences that just aren't operating smoothly. And we're seeing it at schools like Clemson too, where I believe that they have NIL, but they're not using it wisely and they're losing a ton of guys, right? So we're seeing how important NIL is in this day and age of college sports and college football especially. So I'm hoping that we can continue on the trajectory that we're at. I hate that it's on the fans. The onus falls to the fans to foot the bill. But the fans of East Carolina University is a rabid fan base, and they're willing to do it because they want nothing more than ECU to be a household name in all athletics and around the country. So anything else you have on the transfers or commits, Artie?
No. That's on it.
Cool. Well, talking about money and getting it paid, we got our new offensive coordinator JDB and then existing defensive coordinator Blake Harrell both got signed to extensions. JDB has a 2-year contract. Both have a 2-year contract. JDB's base salary is $440,000 a year. Artie, did you know he was making $520,000 at Ole Miss? Took an $80,000 pay cut to come coach at ECU and was basically coaching at $520,000 at Ole Miss, basically sitting on his hands. I mean, co-offensive coordinator. He wasn't the one calling plays. Yeah, he was helping with a lot of stuff, but he wasn't the one really doing it.
He wasn't the one actually calling the plays. He was helping the play call.
It wasn't his neck on the line.
It at all. But I mean, it clearly proves that he came here to make a name for himself and to really move up in the ranks of coaching, which means he's going to give ECU everything because he didn't come here for the money. So he came here to really prove himself as a legitimate coach, which has got to make you excited.
Yeah. Now, JDB will get a $18,333 bowl game bonus and $36,666 bonus for a bowl game win. That's if he participates in the bowl game. Mm-hmm. And then he has a $5,000 bonus for team APR above 985. So that's big. And then if a team hires JDB away from East Carolina before September 15th, so that would be week 2 going into week 3 of the season, that school will owe ECU $480,000. After that, it's a $220,000 buyout of his contract. Wow. So if he goes somewhere, ECU's at least recouping some of that money.
Right.
Now, Blake Harrell is now the highest paid assistant in the Mike Houston era. Base salary will be $480,000 per year, and he's worth every damn penny of it. Friend of the podcast.
President Harrell.
Could be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
I heard the rumblings. I heard the interest. Did
you see that? That? That was.
Yeah.
Don't take shots at my defensive coordinator.
I didn't see that video. That was wild, man. He caught strays for no reason.
Like, what are we doing? You're talking about one of the best defensive coordinators in the group of 5. I mean, I think he was listed. I take Big Game Boomer with a grain of salt, but he was listed in the top 20 defensive coordinators for the year. Blake Harrell.
He deserves every penny because somebody would have tried to wrestle Blake Harrell away. Absolutely. So, yeah, ECU needed to pay that man.
Yeah, and if a team, same kind of buyout scenario, if a team hires him before September 15th, 2024, they owe East Carolina $480,000 after that. It's a $240,000 buyout. His bonus structure's set up the same way. He gets $20,000 for a bowl game and a $40,000 salary or $40,000 bonus for a bowl win if he participates, and then the same bonus for the APR. Artie, this is showing that ECU is getting behind their coaches, the guys that they believe in, and paying them the market rate for what they do. And granted, it's not Power 5 money, at least not yet. You've got to think that these coaches are getting paid towards the top of the group of 5.
And look, now that the money's taken care of, now we can just get to business, right? Now it's put up or shut up time. Money's taken care of. That part's been handled. Let's go out there. Let's go out there and win football games. And I think that's the mindset of ECU. We're going to go all in on these guys. We're going to let them know that we are behind them, but we fully expect results quickly. And let's get to it. So that's what I see from this.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like where we're headed, and I think a lot of ECU fans are excited for where we're headed. Now, Artie, let's talk a little bit about depth chart and where things are as we go into the spring from a roster standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got currently four quarterbacks on scholarship, 5 once Cole Hodge gets in, and then you'll also be having to wait out. Does Alex Flynn stay? Is he gone? I've heard that he's applied to medical school. I think his decision is contingent whether he gets in or not. We'll see. He was at a team meeting to open the spring, so that's a sign that he's at least still involved, right? Then you have Raheem Jeter, redshirt freshman, on scholarship. We already talked about Jake Garcia. Everybody knows Caden Hauser. How do you feel about this quarterback room this year compared to a whole year ago from now?
On paper, it looks better. On paper, it looks better. Now, going into the season last year, we had a different mindset of what we thought Mason Garcia was, though, right? Like we definitely thought that Mason was going to be a guy that led us to 6, 7, 8 wins going into last season. That didn't happen. But on paper, it is a lot better of a look. Now, we don't know what the results of these moves are yet. You know, we are excited. We think it's going to pay off. But we don't know yet. We got to see spring ball. We got to see how these guys mesh. We got to see how they correlate with all these new pieces, new revolving parts coming around them. But the addition of a Caden Hauser, who we presume is the one, and then you have a Garcia at the 2 once Hodge gets in, obviously, and then we still really don't know what Jeter is or what Jeter can be. I think he's going to have a lot to say about that as well. So on paper, it looks a lot better. Obviously, it just and I don't and to be honest, I don't really think it can't get worse than what it was last season. I think as a Pirate fan, you have to understand it's not getting worse. So obviously, it can only go up from here.
Yeah, I agree. Now shifting to the running back room, this room is filled with studs, right? Like I think the 4 guys that I'm about to talk about, I feel like they could get starting looks at a lot of schools. First off, we'll start with Marlon Gunn. 24 carries last year, 65 yards. We were expecting a blow-up season from Marlon Gunn. I think some injuries early in the year held him back. But then when Javius Bond kind of came out of nowhere, I shouldn't say came out of nowhere, but came out and made a name for himself as an explosive back, he was able to be more of the yin to Rajay Harris's yang, right? He had 40 carries with 231 yards and a touchdown last year. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. If he stays healthy this year, I don't like comparing him to Keaton Mitchell, but he has similar traits to Keaton Mitchell of that explosive back that has good speed. Like that, he has that speed that once he finds an open hole, he can hit it. I don't want to see him playing any more special teams. Coach Dallas, get him off the special teams unit. Don't want to see it anymore. That's a guy we need.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Javius Bond?
Yeah, I mean, what I really do want to see, though, and obviously, it provided he can stay healthy, we do need a solid 2. To me, it's going to take a 1-2 punch going into next season. Obviously, the numbers didn't wow you. Not even Roger Harris did the numbers wow you. But we presume that he's going to have even more of a bounce-back season, 2 years removed now from that ACL tear, coming back, getting back into form, being the icy Rajay Harris that we are accustomed to seeing. But I will say Keaton Mitchell, we don't have a Keaton Mitchell in that room, right? Like Keaton Mitchell was a dynamic top 10 running back in the country, can explode on anybody's defense whenever the hell he wanted to do that. We do not have that in this running back room. Now we do have some guys, but I think it's going to be a running back by committee. And I think you're going to have 2 main horses that really got to get it going for this running back room. Hopefully it is a Javius Bond, the yin to, Roger Harris's yang. But I think the numbers do got to increase, right? They both got to stay healthy, but those numbers don't wow you at all. But I definitely think it's going to be a running back by committee type of room going forward. And hopefully we do have that 1-2 punch. Because, I mean, they could prove me wrong, but I don't see a true 1 in this room, but I do see a solid 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number 1. I mean, it's got to be Rajay.
Well, he's the number 1, but what I mean is I don't see a game changing back in this room. Not right.
I don't know if we start seeing the Rajay Harris that we saw at the end of the year against Tulsa,
and I want him to be that full. Definitely want him to be that. I just think right now he's not there yet. He can get there, but he's not there.
And we got to also remember that there's some new pieces to this offensive line. They got bigger up front.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's more time and space for these guys to find a hole and hit that hole. Right. So I think that coupled with a full year back for 47, we're gonna see him really kind of take that step that he was starting to take 2 years ago before he tore the ACL, and anything after that is cake, right? Like having a Javius Bond, having a Marlon Gunn, a Kamaro Edmonds, the transfer out of Carolina from a couple years ago, having those guys that can kind of come in and add a spark. I'm excited. Plus, we know that we're going to have to be able to run the ball because everybody knows that going into this year, we're going to be gunslinging. That's JDB's mindset. We should be a gunslinging offense. Air raid, right? To have a good air raid offense, you've got to be able to run the rock. You can't just throw it up top every time. You got to keep them guessing, and having a good 1-2 punch feeds into that. Now, do I expect to see the crazy numbers from this running back room? I expect to see better numbers than last year.
Oh, they got to be better.
They got to be better.
They have to be better.
The running back room was outside of quarterback may have been the biggest disappointment, but I put most of that on the offensive line. They were having to do
most of an O-line.
So much blocking. And anytime you run it up the middle on 3 straight plays, sorry, Donnie, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
We didn't have a guy that could hit the outside last year like we did 2 years ago with Keaton Mitchell. All right, Artie, tight end room.
Yes.
Be excited about this tight end room. We talked about Casey Kelly earlier. That's a big addition. You got Antonio Ferguson, redshirt freshman. Rosario Riles coming back this year. The big guy, the elder statesman, Shane Calhoun.
Shane.
That's big.
Shane.
So, Artie, where do you see the tight end room this year?
It's obviously going to be much improved because they were non-existent last season, which is a travesty that you are in modern football and you haven't figured out how to use a tight end yet adequately. So, we got a former tight ends coach as offensive coordinator. Obviously, JDB is. I really full-heartedly believe he's going to get these tight ends involved. But my main thing is that just that, get them involved, get them more involved in the game plan, get them more involved in the game. I really want to see Shane Calhoun, flourish in this offense. Obviously Kelly coming over, he could have a lot to say in that, but I just want to see them get the tight ends involved however you can. I don't just want to see my tight ends out there blocking every single play. Get them involved, get the ball in their hands, let them make plays down the field. And I think JDB is going to find a way to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some schemes with two tight ends.
Tight end set, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all this year. I think that going back to the type of offense that JDB is going to run at East Carolina, a lot of it falls to the tight ends, right? That's going to be your check down. And you got guys like Shane Calhoun who can have shown that they can catch the ball and play very well at the tight end position. You got a guy in Casey Kelly that was on a top 10 team, caught 3 touchdown receptions this year. You've got those guys that are gonna do well in this tight end room.
Yeah.
And then you got Riles, who I think he's the next guy after Shane. But we need to get back to what we were doing a couple years ago, where Ryan Jones was a star.
Monster. Yeah.
for what he was doing at ECU. There were people thinking that he was going to get drafted
right
as a tight end for what he did. An air raid offense, a pass-heavy offense is going to lend well to these tight ends. They're going to shine in an offense like that. So, anything else that you have on the tight ends, Artie? Feel free to.
I'm just excited to see him. I got nothing else on him, no.
So, all right. Let's talk about the wide receiver room. Lost some, but refilling kind of nicely. I mean, let's talk about the guys that were already on the roster first. You got Jari Patterson, Keelan Robinson, Chase Sowell, Brock Spalding, and Tyler Savage. Didn't have a great year last year, right? Part of that's on the quarterback. Part of that's on there's a lot of drop passes last year. I think that they're going to be working through that heavily going into the year. And I think bringing in the guys that you brought in, and an Anthony Smith from NC State, a Winston Wright Jr. from Florida State, an Omega Blake from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Bringing those guys in, they've got talent. I mean, you're refilling. Artie, right now, if you had to pick a number one, it's got to be Chase Sowell, right?
It's got to be Chase, absolutely. It's got to be Chase. But if I'm looking at this as a whole, I really need this to be what it was a couple years ago when you had C.J. Johnson and Isaiah Winstead. We need one of these transfers to hit, like an Isaiah Winstead, and then we need a Chase Sowell to step into like that C.J. Johnson role and stepping up. And you've got 2 guys that can vertical threats, get you down the field. Either way it goes, they're threatening. They're cruising 1,000 yards. Now, I'm not saying we need to have 2,000-yard receivers, but we do need 2 guys that are legitimate threats the way we had with Isaiah Winstead and C.J. Johnson. That's what I'm looking at. I think right now Chase Sowell definitely number 1. Now, can some of these other guys that are coming back that we already had in the locker room be that too? Yeah, they could, but they're also going to get pushed. And I think some of these guys that are coming in as transfers, they've got to hit as a 2, right? And they've got to make that impact right away. But I'm thinking if we can have something similar to what we had a couple years ago with the Johnson-Winstead connection, that's going to do wonders for this offense.
Yeah, I think Winston Wright's that guy. I think your top 3 receivers this year, I'll give them on top 4. Chase Soul, Winston Wright, Jari Patterson, and Brock Spalding. Those are the 4 guys that I'm watching in that receiver room this year. There's some things about some of the transfers that I've heard that I'm not sure that they're ready to be starters. Just doing my research, and I don't. We don't talk badly about any athlete on this podcast, but it's something. Those are the guys that I think we're going to see. I think Anthony Smith may be a guy that we start to see maybe returning, like kick returning. I don't know if we're going to see him as much spread out wide. I don't think that's him yet, or I think he may play the slot, but I don't think we'll see him play or get as many snaps. I think the guy is Winston Wright Jr. Coming into this year. So,
and I don't care who it is. I think the only bona fide guy that I can say with confidence is Chase Soul, because I mean he had over 600 yards receiving, and that was with ineptitude on offense. So I mean I think he's going to be pushing 1,000 yards or more this season. I think he's definitely going to be the one. Outside of that, I do not care who's the 2. I just need one of y'all to step up and be that guy. So,
yeah, you got to think that defenses playing East Carolina this year, they're not going to be able to always put their best matchup on Chase Soul going into this year. Last year, they were able to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's going to be the case this year. All right, Artie, offensive line. Friend of the podcast, Parker Moore, announced that he's coming back. Played a lot, started a lot last year. Darius Bell, the transfer from Maine, he's got 2 years left. Then you got Kayshawn Sapp, the 3-year transfer, or with 3 years left out of Florida State. Emmanuel Poku, redshirt sophomore, had 216 snaps last year, Artie. Lots of upside with him. Now, then you start to get in to guys like your Dustin Hall, Hampton Ergel, and Jacob Sacra. I think Ergel, we started to see Ergel more down the stretch last year. I think he's probably going to end up at center. It would really shock me if he wasn't. But I could also see Sacra there as well. But we just need to shore up the strong side tackle.
Yeah. I would agree. And look, Parker Moore comes back with that experience. He brings that edge to him. But as a whole, that unit just needs to be better. So hopefully the additions that we've made are gonna reap benefits. But as much as we talked about, we think the receivers are gonna do this and the running back's gonna do this. We're gonna have much better quarterback play. None of that means a damn thing if this O-line still is playing like doo-doo. It don't mean that we could have the best skill players in the conference, but if this O-line's playing like doo-doo, we're not going nowhere. So this unit in particular, outside of the QB room, is the unit that has to make the most change going into next season.
Yeah, and I see we have some comments on YouTube. I want to address one of them. Robert Diedrich asks, will Sapp end up playing tackle? I think so. I think he's going to be your starting left tackle this year. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it's got to be him. All right, Artie. Anything else on the offensive roster, the depth chart?
Is it time for spring ball yet? Spring ball here?
We'll be in Dowdy for the purple gold game soon enough. I hope.
Yeah, I'm missing a couple years. I got to get there this year, definitely.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna have a blast. All right, Artie. Basketball.
Oh, basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way you dribble up and down the court. All right.
Uh,
roller coaster. The roller coaster that is ECU basketball.
I'm every year, Artie. I say this is the year ECU basketball is going to be different.
Yeah.
And every year
they disappoint me.
I'm wrong. ECU falls to 9-9 on the season with a tough loss last night. North Texas is a good basketball team. SMU is a good basketball team. You played FAU close. You've played South Carolina close. You've played Florida close. You've played a lot of good teams close.
But no cigar.
Nothing, not a damn thing to show for it, Artie.
Yeah.
That one last night hurt. That one last night had shades of the Tulsa screw job along with the UCF Hail Mary wrapped into one, put a bow on it, and stick it under the damn tree. And Artie, it's oinking because it was a pig. I swear, man, that was brutal to watch. And as soon as we scored, you talk during football, you talk about, oh, did they leave too much time on the clock? As soon as we had 3 seconds left on the clock, I was like, I still knew we were going to lose that game. I knew somehow, some way, ECU was going to find a way to lose that basketball game, even with a lead with 3 seconds left. And the Mean Green fighting machine out of North Texas had to go all the way down the court. And I'm surprised we didn't get another statement from acquaintance of the podcast, enemy of the podcast, Mike Oresco today for the poor excuse of officiating when Brandon Johnson got pushed in the back twice.
Was it a screw job? Yes, but it's not like we didn't put them away. We play close games with a whole bunch of teams, and we don't know how to put them away. That's our MO. That's what we do. We're up and down. It's a roller coaster. You win a couple of games, lose a couple of games. We're probably going on a 2-game win streak, and then we're going on a 3-game losing streak. That's just ECU basketball MO. That's just kind of what we do. We shouldn't be shocked by anything that happens with this program. But last night definitely hurt. Absolutely, because you have Felton, who is what appeared to be the game winner with 3 seconds left, and then to have that full court pass to push off in the back. Obviously, we all know what happened. And I said, can we at least finish 5 games over 500? I thought that was a reasonable. I thought that was extremely reasonable. I really thought that was a legitimate, reasonable ask. I thought I was being within reason to ask that of this program for this season going forward. Can we be 5 games over 500? That way we have some kind of real confidence, momentum. Okay, the tides are shifting with this program, and
Artie, you should know by now that you can never ask anything to be reasonable with East Carolina, especially when it comes to basketball or football, and sometimes baseball when you can't get over the hump in the supers. I don't know. I'm ready for. We're less than a month away from baseball season, Artie.
We are. That we are. Good times are coming again. But we just got to go through the storm a little bit first.
Take me to the jungle. I need the jungle. Show me to the jungle, baby. I need that.
Yeah.
Next games for ECU. Got a road trip down to Birmingham, Alabama. Can you paint me a Birmingham? UAB. You never heard that song, Artie? Paint Me a
Of
Birmingham?
course not. I have no idea what you're singing right now.
I'll have to play it for you.
I'm sure you will when I'm in the car with you.
When
on 3-hour-long trips to Greenville. I'm sure you will.
Oh, just wait, Artie. Just wait. I love those drives because I drive and Artie rides and I play my music and Artie's like, this white boy.
Hey, it's not like I don't offer to drive though. I do offer. Jared's like, no,
he does. I'm a control freak. I do what I do. So he offers. I tell him I would rather drive.
It's just because you don't want to listen to my playlist. It's playlist. It's okay.
Artie,
all right.
Artie, be honest. I can vibe. I can vibe. You've heard my personal playlist.
Yes, you can vibe the best way you know how, Jared. I will give you that.
I mean, Artie, come on now. And then we're going to Wichita. Wichita State, also on the road. Wichita State is 8-9 on the season. UAB is 11-6. I think ECU splits it. Somehow, some way, they find a way to split it. They'll win a game that they're not supposed to, or something like that. I don't know.
We're gonna finish right at 500 at this point. So we gotta keep winning games and we gotta keep losing games, Jared. We're gonna finish at 500.
Yeah. I mean, looking at our schedule for the rest of the month, you got UAB this Saturday. Next Wednesday, Wichita State. Then you got Sunday on the 28th, Temple, who a team you've already beaten, and then you got to host South Florida to close out January. ECU very well I could see ECU going 2-2 for those 4 games. I don't see any way that they go 3-1. I don't see any way they go 1-3. I think they go 2-2.
Yeah.
They are a up and down team, hot, cold, wet, dry, whatever you want. They are yin yang each and every night. And yeah, it's brutal to watch at times. You're up 4 with 5 minutes left. Find a way to close it out.
Well, up 4 is nothing.
Yeah, but still, like,
absolutely nothing.
I think they had gone on like a 12-0 run to take that lead, and they had North Texas on the ropes at times.
Yeah, you got to deliver the knockout punch. Absolutely, you got to go ahead and just put them to bed.
So
we're just not that program.
We've seen it time and time again. That, I mean, now what is it? At least 3 or 4 games now where ECU has been really in the game and then lost it in the final minute or final seconds. I don't know, Artie. I'm ready for baseball season. All right. Women's basketball, it's a struggle. They're the team that was picked to come, I believe, in second in the American, maybe first in the American this year. They're 9-7 on the season, 2-3 in the American. Look, injuries have piled up, and this team is limping. And I don't think it's not a giving up thing. They're banged up. You're missing 2 starters, and they're out for the season. I mean, it's tough to replace what you're missing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, losing 1 starter sucks. Losing 2,
in the matter of like a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're going to be hoisting any banners or trophies after losing 2 starters. I mean, it's just like you said, that production. They're starters for a reason. That production you can't just replace. And like you said, I don't think it's anything given up. It obviously has been a disappointing season. Obviously, I don't see this getting turned around. I think ECU is probably going to limp into conference the conference tournament. They probably won't repeat, as conference tournament champions. But I still do see them fighting, scratching, clawing for every single game, every single inch. So it sucks. It definitely sucks. We had a lot of high expectations for this ECU women's basketball team, but obviously when you have those kinds of injuries, it is what it is.
Yeah. ECU's going to fool around and get like the 7 seed, 8 seed in the tournament, and then watch them shock some teams and
mess around and make a run.
I have a good feeling about it, but right now it does not look promising. But knowing Kim McNeil and knowing this roster, I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet. I'm not ready to wave the white flag just yet.
No, nobody's waving the white flag, but it is getting really dark outside. It's almost time to call the kids home. So,
sun's getting real low, big fella. All right. You got anything else, Artie?
Nah.
Anything I'm missing? Baseball media days next week. We'll have Courtney there covering it for us.
We're gonna have all that for you here soon, real soon.
So yeah, and we're trying to line up some interviews going into baseball season. We've got a couple lined up, so stay tuned. All right, Artie, walk the plank. Do you have one?
I feel like I did have one and I forgot, to be honest with you.
I
swear how to walk the plank, and I can't even remember what it was. I know I did, though. Something happened this week in sports, and I was like, that would be a good
Something happened.
I can't remember what it was. And it'll come to me after we finish recording.
The Falcons giving Bill Belichick 2 interviews.
That's not a walk the plank, bro. You are a walk the plank. Are you kidding me?
Fuck up.
You root for a poverty franchise, and you have the audacity to sit here and say that you wouldn't want a 6-time Super Bowl champion as your coach. All you got to do is get the quarterback right. You get the quarterback right with Bill Belichick, the Falcons are right there with anybody in the NFC. Anybody.
Artie.
Anybody.
Bill Belichick is 47-57 without Tom Brady.
That's why I said you get the quarterback right, because Bill Belichick is guaranteed to have a good defense, and he's guaranteed to have that locker room discipline. You get the quarterback right with Bill, you could be anybody in the NFC. Now, I can't say you're going to be, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City or Joe Burrow in Cincinnati or Lamar Jackson in the Ravens, but you could be anybody in the NFC. You can get to a Super Bowl. You root for a poverty franchise, Jared. What do you mean you wouldn't want Bill? Who was better? Harbaugh? Because that's the only other person you're getting outside of Bill that's better or on par.
I don't know.
Who you want? You don't want Bill. Who you want? Ben Johnson will be good. I'll say if you can get Ben Johnson out of Detroit, that's a good pick. But
I don't hate Vrabel.
Vrabel's the same as Bill Belichick. You might as well get Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick's got a foot in the grave already.
Man, you literally said Vrabel. So you'd rather have Mike Vrabel, who is literally the second coming of Bill Belichick, went to the school of Belichick. But you wouldn't want the man himself? Like, what?
I don't know. Something about the cut off sleeves, man.
No, it's something about 28-3. That's why you don't want Bill Belichick. That's what it is. Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth, Jared. It's 28-3.
All right, I think I'll give my walk the plank. It's all the college football pundits that are now making a big stink in the world of coaching changes. Now that Washington has stolen away Arizona's head coach and Alabama stole away Washington's head coach, and these schools are upset, and the media is upset because these coaches don't stand for anything. They don't have loyalty to their teams or their players or their schools or their bosses. They don't have any loyalty because they took a better job. But anytime that a coach has been hired away from the group of 5, it's always, oh yes, this guy's the new up and comer.
They took a step up.
He took a step up. Those schools are always going to be stepping stones. There is always a stepping stone in college football, in college athletics. Somebody's always going to be stepped on, stepped over, pissed on, pissed off, whatever. Sorry about it. Anybody, and I mean, good on Dan Lanning for turning down the job at Alabama, which apparently he was offered. Which I don't know if I necessarily believe that he was the number one. I think DeBoer was.
I think DeBoer was their one. They wanted DeBoer.
Anybody that would turn down Alabama outside of maybe Kirby Smart is damn right insane. I'll say Kirby Smart and Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Anybody else is out of their damn minds if they turn down Alabama.
Well, it's not like Dan Lanning's got a bad gig at Oregon. I mean,
right.
he's good. He can get to a playoff there. He can still, compete for championships at Oregon.
So, but I've seen a lot of that, people complaining about, oh well, it's just not right. He had no loyalty to his team. He only talked to them for 10 minutes. He was coaching. He knew he had the job at Alabama. He was coaching our championship game, knowing that he was going out. Boo fucking Hugh. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Welcome to the world.
At the end of the day, did the man do his job while he was there? Did he do the job that was asked of him to do while he was there? Kalen DeBoer was hired to win football games and win a lot of football games. He did that. He was hired to win conference championships. He did that. He was hired to get the Washington Huskies to the playoff. He did that. Did he do his job? He did it. Only thing he didn't do was win Natty. So,
and then to the opposite side, you've got guys like Kurt Cignetti, coming from James Madison, going to Indiana. And all of a sudden now he's left arguably one of the more prominent group of 5 schools in the last 2 years, in James Madison. And now he's saying, oh, well, we need to split up the FBS. We need 2 more divisions. We need a division Power 5 versus Group of 5. We need to break off from the Group of 5. Bro, you just left James Madison. Shut the fuck up. Sorry about it. All right. I don't know. So, Kurt Cignetti walked the damn plank. College football media walked the damn plank. Just everybody walk the damn plank. I don't know. You get to walk the plank. You get to walk the plank. You get to walk the plank. Somebody throw up the Oprah me. I don't give a shit. Everybody walk the plank. I'm just not in a good mood.
Hey. Yeah,
I am ready for college football to be turned on its head. East Carolina University is going to win the college football playoff next year. We're going to beat Bama. I don't give a shit. All right. I'm kidding.
That note.
I'm kidding, Artie. Oh, man. All right, Artie. Baby's not been sleeping well.
That's never good.
Well, I'm tired. Nights. All right, I'm tired. Let's start wrapping this thing up.
Let's do it. What we got next? What's on the docket?
Gambling corner. All right, here we go. Texans at Ravens. Artie, last week you talked me out of some games.
Yeah.
And as they were going on, I was like, damn, Jared, you messed up.
All I forgot about was the Green Bay Dallas game. I completely whiffed on that. My goodness.
I was like, oh, I feel like the Packers can win this game. And you're like, No shot.
Yeah, I whiffed on that.
And I was like, you know what? That's just what my heart's telling me. I'm going to go with my brain. I'm not going with my brain anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Texans at Ravens. Ravens 9-point favorites. Over unders 43.5. Artie, what do you think?
The Ravens are the favorite. I'm rooting for Lamar. They're the team I want to win the Super Bowl. I want Lamar and the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. But they better come out and play like their lives depend on in this game, because the Texans are one of those teams. They're like 2 years ahead of schedule. They're not even supposed to be here in this moment. They're playing with house money. They don't know they're not supposed to be here. They don't know they're not supposed to go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. I think they're going to play their ass off. I think C.J. Stroud, he's going to play his butt off. I think that team, like I said, they're playing with house money. They got nothing to lose. They're ahead of schedule. So the Ravens can't mess around with this team, because if they mess around with the Texans, they will lose. They will lose at home to Houston. Absolutely. So, I mean, I think they got to come out and play. Now, they got Mark Andrews back. And if they really come out and play the way they've been playing all season, game really shouldn't be that close. Should be a double-digit victory for Baltimore. I have Baltimore in this game. But, man, they better come out firing quick, because if they allow Houston to go into the fourth quarter and it's only a 3 to 7 point ball game, I don't feel good about Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Houston covers. I think Baltimore wins outright, but I think Houston covers. And I'm taking the over in this game. So
what's the over under?
43.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. Yeah, there's gonna be points scored. They got Marlon Humphrey out for Baltimore as well. Take the over.
All right. Packers, 49ers, Artie. 49ers, 9.5-point favorites. Over under 50.5. Take it away.
Look, they're not going to do it to me 2 weeks in a row. I don't care. And the 49ers are not frauds like the Dallas Cowboys are. The Dallas Cowboys are perennial frauds. The 49ers are not frauds. They're just too good. They're gonna overpower Green Bay. It's been a nice run. Green Bay is just like Houston. They're way ahead of schedule. They're going to be playing their butts off. They're going to be playing house money. But I think, what's the over in this game?
50.5.
Take the under. I think there's going to be some defense played in this game, and I think the Niners are going to put them to bed. I wouldn't say early. I think it'll be a good 3 quarters, but going into the end of the fourth quarter, this game is going to be over. Like halfway through the fourth, it's going to be okay. Niners got this in the back.
Packers cover. I think Jordan Love. The Packers have done it again. They've got 30 years.
It's ridiculous.
Quarterback.
Absolutely absurd. Oh my God.
They haven't missed.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
And at one point they had Kurt Binkert as the backup. I mean, what is going on? Now give me the Packers to cover, and I'm also going to take the under here. 49ers win. All right, Artie. Bucks at Lions.
Woo.
Detroit's a 6.5-point favorite. Over unders 35.5. What say you?
Oh, I want to stay away from this game because I really want the Lions to break through. They're at home. They have an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game. I don't even know if they've ever done that in their franchise. Have they ever been to an NFC Championship game in their franchise history? I don't even know, to be honest with you. But they got an opportunity to do it this weekend. On paper, Detroit's better. The eye test will tell you that Detroit is better. Detroit should win this game. I don't know, man. There's something about them Bucks. It's something about the bake train. I don't know. I just want to stay away from this game. What's the over-under on this?
The over-under is 35.5.
Oh, take the over. Take the over. Hands down. There's going to be more than 35 points scored in this game. Give me Detroit, but I think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle with Tampa Bay. But give me Detroit.
What do you think of Lions fans booing Matt Stafford?
They didn't boo his damn kids. You talking about booing Matt Stafford?
Yes.
Oh, I don't care about that. You immediately, when you immediately left the franchise that you had been for 12 years, you went and won a Super Bowl the very next year. Of course we're going to boo you when you come back. You did nothing while you were here. And then you go win a Super Bowl the year after you win. Of course we're going to boo you.
Already, the Lions did go to a NFC title game.
Was it the one against Dallas? I feel like it was the one against and they lost to Dallas.
No, they lost to Washington, the former artist formerly known as the Redskins.
What year was this?
That was 1991.
90. Okay, so that was their last great season. Okay, all right.
Beat Dallas in the division round, lost to Washington in the NFC. Everybody talks so much shit about the NFC South, Artie. Give me the Bucks.
The Bucks, the 9-8 Bucks. You think they go to the NFC Championship game?
Playing the toughest division in all of football.
I wouldn't be shocked though. I think Detroit's going to struggle with Tampa Bay. I do.
And people told me I was a fool for wanting the Falcons to sign Baker Mayfield. All right, Artie. Game of the weekend. Chiefs at Bills.
Yeah.
This is becoming the new Manning Brady. Manning.
Yeah, sure is.
Mahomes, Allen, Mahomes.
Love these matches.
Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like up in Buffalo.
It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold.
Over unders 45.5. Bills are 3-point favorites. I'm taking the Bills here. I think they cover, and I think the under. I think it's the under. Depending on the weather, if we have weather like they had last week, it wouldn't surprise me if they hit the under.
Yeah, I mean this Chiefs offense hasn't been great all season. I think they're only averaging like 21 points a game, but all the pressure is on Buffalo.
Travis Kelce has his mind somewhere else, man. Can't tell you where.
Hey, look, that's Travis Kelce's business, but there's no pressure on Travis Kelce. There's no pressure on the Chiefs either. They're 2-time Super Bowl champions. They are the standard. You know, obviously they've been there, done that. It's all on Allen and Buffalo. You have Mahomes in Kansas City in your backyard now. You're not in Arrowhead. So you guys got to get it done. You got to put up this is probably the best year that you can do it if you're going to get it done. This would be the year. If not, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to do it. But I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going to take the over. I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. I think the offenses find a way. But give me Josh Allen putting on the Superman cape. I think he's going to have a rushing touchdown. I think he's going to have 2 or 3 passing touchdowns. I think Buffalo gets it done.
Yeah. All right, Artie. I don't have anything else. Let's get the hell out of here. Make sure you subscribe to the Boneyard Podcast wherever you get your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. We're on Amazon, in case you didn't know. Check us out, iHeartRadio, wherever. We're everywhere. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Thanks to Elon. At Boneyard Podcast. Make sure to follow Variety Sports Network. And while you're doing all of that, leave us a 5-star review. 5 stars, you're your best friend of the podcast. Anything less, you can walk the damn plank along with everybody else. The entire college football media and Kurt Signetti and USF fans who think that they're going to win a college football playoff next year because they went 6-6 this year. Okay. Artie, that's all I got. Let's get the hell out of here.
That's all I got. Bears hire Cliff Kingsbury as the OC. Get it done like yesterday.
Bears.
Wash your hands, wash your butts, people. We out. Deuce.
Peace.